Hello everybody, it's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly vlog, vlog number 255 for March the 5th, 2024. Hope everybody had a good week, had a good weekend, had a good everything. And let's jump right into what I have been working on. Well, there it is. That's just a top. It hasn't been quilted yet, but that is my next pattern. And I am now putting the finishing touches on both the quilt sample that you see before you. Yesterday I put it on Lucy. I have it all quilted. I made binding, and after I finished this morning, that's my job for today. One of my many jobs for the day is to get this bound. And then I'm going to do some fine tuning of the actual pattern, and I'll have it all ready to go after I've had it looked at by another pair of skilled eyes. And when I say another pair of skilled eyes, I mean asking Stephanie if she'll proofread it for me, because, well, Stephanie knows what she's doing when it comes to writing patterns, as we all know. So her advice is definitely something I need and treasure. Okay, so this pattern for this will not be available to you. It will be available free, but it's not going to be available until the week before the retreat. A little bit more about that later on. So don't ask me for this pattern yet, but it will be coming next month. Yeah, second half of April, it will be probably available. Okay, so that's basically all that I've been, well, not quite all I've been working on. I've been making some mug rugs. I'm doing some preparation for Georgia Retreat. Yeah, I know it's not until tail end of December this year, but you know something? I like to be ahead of the game. So I am working slowly but surely on these. That picture shows you 3. I actually have 4 of them made so far. This is, for those of you that have been following So Chatty and following Walters and my series on In the Hoop, machine embroidery, this is an In the Hoop project. These are completely made in the hoop, including putting the backing onto them as well and sewing it on. I took some basic designs that I found on some of the spots I go to shop for designs, and I edited them so I could create this look. Somebody did ask me if we would do a session in So Chatty when we're talking about machine embroidery of how to add text to a project. Well, yes, I will show you how to do that. Not this week coming. We have something else planned, but that will eventually be. I keep track of what people want to see, and Walter and I will tackle those suggestions as we go through the sessions as well. And so that's what I did here. I added text. It's very easy to do that to any embroidery project. So they're coming along. I think they're kind of cute, and of course, you know, they have to have a gnome on them, don't they? They do. So that's what I have been up to. And, well, excuse me, frog in the throat, always have one. So that takes me to what's coming up, what's next, what's happening. Well, of course, Wednesday of this week, which is tomorrow at the time of recording this, so that will be March the 6th, starting at 9 a.m., we have our Sew Day with Stephanie and Stephen, as we always do on Wednesdays. I always look forward to them, and I know many of you look forward to it as well. We have become a regular group of friends, but we are open to new people as well. So if you've never been to one of our sewing sessions, as I said, they happen every Wednesday starting at 9 a.m. Eastern Time and run until about 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Join us. We don't bite, unless you want us to. And yeah, we have a good time. We really do. And somebody asked me once, well, do you have to be working on a quilt to be there? No, you don't. No, you don't. You can come and work on whatever you want to work on. I've said before in the past, you can be a quilter, a sewer, a knitter, a crocheter, a crafter, or you just want to sit there and have a chit chat with us all for a while. That is all perfectly okay. It's a social thing. We get things done. We share ideas. We always learn some very interesting things about the world because our conversations usually go, who knows where they go. You know, people think Walter and I don't stay on topic when we do Stephen and Walter Live, and they're quite right, we don't. But neither does this group. It's very eclectic in what we talk about. So come, have fun, enjoy the day, bring some snacks. Yes, you can eat during the during the Zoom, okay? And yes, by the way, it's a Zoom, okay? It's a private link in the show notes below. Um, However, we don't record anything and we don't broadcast it. It's a safe space, if you wish, in case we get a little naughty about what we're talking about. Yeah, okay, you can translate what I meant by that any way you wish. But yeah, come, do whatever you want to do, talk about whatever you want, eat whatever you want to eat, drink whatever you want to eat. It's fun. It's just fun. Yeah. So hope to see some new people as well as our regulars there as well. So that's on Wednesdays, 9 a.m. start time. Okay. Come and go as you please. All right. Speaking of Stephanie as well, we of course had Stephanie's live 20K celebration on Friday night. And many of you were there, and it was great to see all the people coming out to congratulate Stephanie and support her as well. She works hard on her YouTube channel and on her everything else that Stephanie does, as you well know. I don't know how the girl does it all. She's amazing. And I'm very happy to call her my friend as well. And we had a great time. She had the Fab Five were all there, chatting away. We did get a little serious at times, but it was still a good time, a fun time. And if you don't know who the five Fab are, that's Shannon from Slay Arts, Stephanie, of course, from Stephanie Stitches, Russ from Quilt Meets World, and Walter and myself from the Idiot Quilter. But the Fab Five also were on Shannon's channel on Tuesday of last week, celebrating her 1,000 plus subscribers. And so we had a good time there too, and chatted about many things. And many of you joined us for that as well. Now, down the road, we're getting ready. No pressure, Russ, but Russ just went over 1,000 as well, so he has to have a celebration. It's not an option. Russ, if you're watching this, and I know you do, you're going to have one. And don't schedule it while Walter and I are in Australia, because, well, we want to be there for it, of course. So that's another celebration coming up down the road. Stay tuned to Russ's channel, Quilt Meets World, to find out when that might be. Okay, and I've already mentioned So Chatty that we've been doing this series on machine embroidery. Last week, we've started now to get more into specific types of projects. So last week we showed you in the hoop applique, which is one of my favorite things to do. And we gave you our tips and tricks and little demo of how that all works. And this week, we're going on to another thing I love to do in the hoop, and that's freestanding lace. Yes, no fabric involved with this kind of embroidery. It is all thread. And so we're going to talk about how that works, the ins and outs of doing these pieces. And freestanding lace is very elegant, can be very elegant and a lot of fun. So we'll be talking all about that this coming Friday on So Chatty. Okay, so I do have a little small fabric haul to show you. Saturday was kind of a rainy, dreary kind of day around in our area, and I wanted to get out. I've been feeling cabin fever lately. The last couple of weeks, I've just been itchy to get out. You know that feeling, right? It's been a weird winter season, and the weather right now has been warmer than usual for this time of the year, and you just want to get out. But what are you going to do? Well, shop for fabric. Yep, retail therapy. I kind of hinted around to Walter on Saturday, we should get out. He goes, well, where do you want to go? I said, I don't know. Where do you want to go? He says, I don't know. Where do you want to go? And I said, I don't know. Where do you want to go? And then he said, okay. So then he mentioned that he is going to be doing another quilt. Yes, Walter is going to be doing another quilt. I think the quilting bug has hit him. I think he's getting tired of making shirts for me. But I want more shirts. Can you ever have too many shirts? I don't think so. And you can't have too many of Walter's shirts, I can tell you that. But he saw one of Stephanie's patterns, that Stephanie just recently released, Rock Candy, and he's decided he wants to make that. So we decided to go to Ultimate Sewing. So off we went and spent an hour or so at Ultimate Sewing. Now, he said he was just going to buy a few yards of fabric. Now, I think he bought 12. He bought a lot of fabric. I'm definitely rubbing off on him. But while I was there, I was looking around, and I didn't have anything specific that I needed. And, I really need to shop my stash. But then I saw that she had some of this steampunk fabric. And when I say she, I mean Shirley, the owner of Ultimate Sewing. And I do have some of this line already that I haven't done a thing with. In fact, to be honest, I forgot I had any. So I bought 3 different styles, or 3 different prints, I guess you would say, in the steampunk, and you can see them here. And I bought my standard meterage, which is 2 meters. I always buy, unless it's for backing, I always buy 2 meters of anything that I see, unless I need more for a pattern, for a specific pattern. But generally speaking, I buy 2 meters. You might think, why do you buy 2 meters? Why not 1 meter? Because 1 meter is never enough. Yeah, I always find that if I buy 1 meter of a fabric, I always need more of it for whatever reason. Usually because I've been making mistakes in whatever pattern I've been creating. So I'm running short. So I always buy 2 meters. So you can see what I bought here. And I really think it's cool. I don't know. I've really got to sit down and find a pattern that I think will kind of, do justice to this kind of fabric to show it off. It is a bit of a novelty print, and I don't usually work with novelty prints. Mainly because when you start chopping up into smaller pieces, you really don't see the images that are on it, and some of these images are very, very beautiful, and they need to be seen. I think that's why I have an aversion, well, not really an aversion, but why I don't buy Tula Pink. I appreciate her artistic abilities, and I think they're really kind of cool to look at, but putting them into a quilt, I don't know how to do that, how to make them really shine. But anyways, I bought those, and I did buy a bolt. It's not on the bolt now. I put it back in the bolt, but I want some more background fabric. I like to buy it by the bolt, and I usually buy some whites, and like tone on tone whites. This has little gray specks in it, and I thought that might be kind of nice for something different. So I'm slowly but surely building up my stash of bolted fabric, and stuff that I would use for backgrounds, kind of a thing. So yeah, I think what was left on that bolt was 11.5 meters. Was it 11.5 meters? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, because overall I got 17 and a half. I'm not doing math very well this morning. Anyways, I got a lot. So yeah, so that was fun. I love retail therapy, I don't love the bill afterwards, but it's fun. So that's what we did on a gloomy Saturday afternoon. Okay. So, now I have a little demo that is based on something someone asked me. They wanted to know about making, with my 3D printers, templates. And I think what they had in mind is templates that you could use for ruler work quilting. And the answer to that question is yes and no. And I thought I'd explain how that works, and I made a little video explaining how you can, yes, make 3D templates using your 3D printer, or templates using your 3D printer. But there are some fallbacks to that as well. So here's a little video clip I created about that. So recently I was asked if I could use my 3D printer to create templates that you could use with a rotary cutter. And so I got thinking about this idea and decided to give it a try. So I picked these 4 shapes, and you can print them. However, can you use them with a rotary cutter? And my first suggestion is it depends on the shape. For example, the heart shape and this clamshell shape you could probably use with a rotary cutter. However, the maple leaf And the star, well, you might be able to use the star with a small rotary cutter, like a 45 millimeter. Even with the star, maybe if you had a really small one, like the Shark by Rob Appel, which is what, about a 14 or something like that, or even a 28 millimeter, maybe you could. So the first and simple answer is yes, you can make templates with a 3D printer. However, here is the problem. These are made from a filament called PLA. PLA is a type of plastic, and it's a fairly soft plastic. And what I mean by that is, if you were to accidentally sort of gouge into these with your rotary cutter, it would make a mark and basically would probably kind of destroy it. So they're really, that type of plastic is not really the type that is best for rotary cutting. Now, these would be great if you're just going to trace out the design and cut it out by hand, for example, for say an applique. But for something like quilting, well, they are made with about a 1/4 inch lip all the way around, and you might be able to use them for that as well. I have not tried. The thing, though, that I think is, one, these would need to be made maybe a little thicker than they are here, which is possible to do with a 3D printer. That's not really a hard thing to do. The other thing is that I'd be worried about, though, is if by accident the needle slipped and hit one of these, it would probably punch a hole anyways or shatter it. And it would probably do some damage to your needle as well. But of course, if you're using a 1/4 inch foot for like a 1/4 inch ruler work foot, then you'd probably be okay. Again, though, I think like something like the maple leaf might be very difficult to use as a quilting template. Now, having said all of that, are there materials you can use in a 3D printer that makes a harder surface? Yes, there is. But you need a specialized machine to do that, and they're much more expensive, and the filament for those is much more expensive as well. So to go back to the basic question that was asked, can you make templates using your 3D printer? And the answer is yes, if they are simple in shape, and if you're careful with your rotary cutter. But really, what's most practical are ones that are made out of acrylic, and a 3D printer can't print in acrylic. So if you just want to use them to trace out a design, yes, that'll work fine. Oh, and by the way, you can alter the size of these too. These are all based on about a 4-inch measurement, but you can make them bigger, you could make them smaller. You have that ability with the 3D printer. And as I said, you can make them a little thicker too. But overall, I don't think it's worth the effort unless you're somebody who has a lot of experience with 3D printing and you have a machine that can handle tougher materials. So that takes me to subscribers' quilt of the week, and this comes from a friend and a regular here on the Idiot Quilter, and this is a creation made by Lydia Yates. This week's quilt from a subscriber comes from a friend of mine called Lydia Yates, and Lydia has shown us her beautiful creations before, and this one is also as stunning as the other ones we have seen. And she says, "Here's my latest finished quilt to share. Quilted concentric circles and lines on my M7, as well as added piping to my binding." Well, this has so much happening here and all very, very elegant. I love the pattern for this. It's something very different. It's traditional, yet it has some modern elements to it. I think the concentric circles, which she did on her domestic sewing machine, a Janome M7, are fantastic. So it shows you what you can do with your domestic machine when it comes to quilting with a little practice. And I think the adding of the piping to the binding is a really nice finishing touch. It really gives this quilt a very professional look. So thank you, Lydia, for sharing this picture of your beautiful quilt. It is absolutely stunning. And I have more quilts to show you in the coming weeks. You know how I'm often asking you to send them to me, and please do send me one picture, a short blurb, 50 words or less, about your creation. I will feature it here. But I'm going to ask you something right now. Can we just put that on hold for a little while? I now have enough quilts to show right up until about the first week in May or so. So I don't want to like bury them. I don't like saying to people, yeah, thank you for sending me your picture. I am going to feature it, but I'm not featuring it until an episode of The Idiot Quilter in 2027. Kind of a thing. So if we can just take a break, just for a minute. When I get back from Australia and that, then yeah, I'll be um, probably asking for some more of them as well. I love showing your creations, so please don't think I don't want to show them. I just don't want to get underneath a pile of paperwork and possibly lose the email you have sent me with the picture of your quilt. Okay. All right. So that takes me to the YouTube video of the week, and this one is called An In-Depth Look at Janome's Zipper Feet Options. Now, Janome has a YouTube channel, but of course it's to sell Janome products, right? However, this particular video I thought really explained well how to insert a zipper into a project, and not just an ordinary zipper, but they also talked about the concealed zipper. And of course they're featuring their zipper feet, but all sewing machine companies make zipper feet. So this video, although it's by Janome, I think could apply to almost any brand of sewing machine. This week's YouTube video clip comes from Janome, the manufacturers of sewing machines, and if you've ever been afraid to insert a zipper into a garment or into a tote bag or whatever project you're making, then this video is for you. Although this individual is talking about using a Janome zipper foot, the technique that she's using could apply to any sewing machine that has a zipper foot attachment. I know that I have always been confused and have to watch a video anytime I put a zipper into a pouch or something like that. And I found this particular tutorial very quick, very to the point, and very easy to follow. And not only does she show you how to put a standard zipper into whatever you're making, but she also shows you how to do a concealed zipper with another special foot, a concealed zipper foot, which I'm sure is available for any brand of sewing machine. So if zippers make you tense and you try to avoid them, see this video clip and you'll be happy to put a zipper into any project you might be making. So future projects, and I've got a lot of future projects, but this one again comes from the book Quilt in a Day 2023 by Carol Thalen. I've talked about her book before, and these are books that are readily available on Amazon, and they're really excellent for people who have AccuQuilt machines and dies as well. But they can also be used in the more traditional way, or these patterns can be created in the more traditional way. So this one that caught my eye is called the 9-Patch Chain. This week's future project comes from the book that I mentioned last week by Carol Thalen called Quilt in a Day 2023. And this one is called 9-Patch Chain 12-inch. Now, in the left-hand column on the page, you can see the basic block there and a suggestion for putting it together. But what I was more interested in was at the bottom of the page over to the right, where she shows this particular pattern used in a sampler type of quilt. And I think when it's coupled with other patches that are also listed in this book, how to make them, I think that would make a stunning looking quilt. And I do like sampler quilts for a couple of reasons. One, I think they're very interesting to look at and study, and I also think they're very interesting to make because you're doing various blocks instead of just getting into the routine or the assembly line routine of making the same block over and over again. So this comes from her book, Block of the Day 2023, which is available on Amazon. And this is the book series that is January through to March of 2023. So you might want to check it out for some great ideas. And of course, these patterns were all designed to work well with the AccuQuilt system, as well as doing it in the more traditional cutting way. So interviews, none this week. A lot of people said they really enjoyed the one that I did with Dawn from Quilting with Dawn. Fantastic quilter. If you haven't seen that interview, it's a must-see, in my opinion. And do check out Dawn's YouTube channel as well. Give him some support because he's a great guy and he's an excellent quilter. Just excellent. His creations make me drool and make me very envious of him as well. But I don't have any interviews right now. I don't have any planned, and I'm really not going to plan any because a lot of things are being put on hold now as we get ready to go on our trip to Australia in the next couple of weeks. So, yeah. But again, if you have suggestions for people I should interview, and remember, I'm not looking for big names. I don't want big names. I don't want people like Jenny Doan or that kind of thing. I want people who may be just starting out on YouTube, but they have some interesting videos that are related to quilting. I'd prefer not to do people that run a business. I'm not giving businesses in that way, using it for free advertising. I just want ordinary, everyday quilters that have ventured into the land of YouTube a little bit and that, need some exposure to other people. So if you've got some suggestions, please send them on. I may have done them already. You can check my playlist of interviews just to make sure about that. But if I think it's feasible or whatever, then I'll reach out to them at some point in time. Okay, what's next? Online quilt store this week. I have almost exhausted what I can find in my own province, but that's okay. There's other provinces in Canada that I can venture out to. But this week, this one is from Ontario. It's a place that's a little bit, I think, north of Ottawa. Arnpire. I think that's how you say it, Arnpire. And I'm sure someone will correct me on that. And it's called So Inspired. This week's online quilt store is called So Inspired, and it's located in Arnpire, Ontario, which is in around, I think, north of the Ottawa area. And it says Ottawa Valley, so that's where it be. So let's just check their front page first of all. So I don't know, this picture I think might be inside their store, which is kind of interesting. Well, the little click things don't seem to work, so that must be the only picture. They have upcoming classes, sewing machines, event calendar. Okay. Our online shop is now open. So they do have a brick and mortar store, I believe, as well. And yeah, they give you the address right here at the bottom and give you their store hours as well. Okay, well, let's jump right into shopping online with them. And first thing we come up with are a list of their products. They have books, bra back extenders. Okay, that's good to know if I ever need a bra. Emmeline bags, so they have bag hardware, fabric, of course, furniture, gifts and novelties, kits, knitting supplies. So they have knitting supplies as well, patterns, fath accessories. So it looks like they're a fath dealer. They have their store samples for sale. They have thread. Looks like they deal with Aurifil. And yarn from Briggs & Little. If you're a knitter, you probably know what that is. They have zippers and classes. Okay, well, let's go to fabric because that's what we're probably most interested in. And they have a nice index off to the left-hand side, which I love, all divided by categories and by brand and by price. So let's look at brand. They have, it says to view all. Ooh, they have quite a bit to choose from in terms of brand names, it looks like. So they've got everybody. Now, not necessarily a lot in some of those categories, but Wilmington and Northcott and Robert Kaufman and Moda seem to be very popular here, and then Timeless Treasures as well. Let's check out Northcott. There's 363 of these, and they've got the Stonehenge line and lots of the batiks by Northcott as well. Looks like they've got some panels. It looks like a fairly good selection, 13 pages of it. And price-wise, it looks like it varies between about $10.46 to $15.38. And I imagine that's by a meter. Let's check and see. Yes, it is. It's by the meter. So that is good, and it's also in meters, which is good as well. Both of these things I am liking right now. Price-wise, not that bad. Actually, pretty good. Oops, I went out of fabric. Let's go back to fabric here. Not done with it yet. So price-wise, I think they're very good. Let's just pick the batiks again to see what we're talking about. Well, they range from, looks like a high of 16.13 to a low of about 12.94. Odd prices in a way, but those are good. Those prices are good, and a good selection as well. So far I'm impressed with what they have to offer in line of their fabrics. Now, do they have pre-cuts? Let's see. Kits, patterns, gifts. Well, if they have pre-cuts, it might be buried in their fabric. Yes, they have some fat quarters, but they only have 3 of them. Oh, here we go. Pre-cuts. Okay, let's see what they have to offer. 10-inch squares, so they have layer cakes, strip packs, yeah, bundles, fat quarter bundles as well. Prices? The prices are okay. They're about average, I would say, for these kind of things. And they have 4 pages of them. So really not a bad selection at a fairly decent price. So okay, that impresses me as well. All right, so let's move away from fabric and let's look under gifts and novelties. Yeah, few little things: lipstick, pin case. If you're looking for gifts, screwdriver, tote bags, sewing kits, memo pads, gnomes, gnome scones, gnome scone mix. Oh, that sounds fun. Gift bag, 18-inch tall gift bag pattern. Okay. Yeah, some cute things. All right. Let's go back and let's see what else they have to offer. Well, I'm not really as interested in the bra back extenders. I'm not sure what those are or how they work. Emmeline bags. Yeah, they have all the hardware, which is nice because if you're making a tote bag or whatever, and price-wise, it looks like what you'd expect for that kind of hardware. Okay, what else do we have? Kits. And they have 2 pages because there's 31 kits to choose from here. And the prices are what you'd expect for a kit as well. But not a bad selection. So that is okay as well. What else can we take a look at? Patterns. Well, probably the usual kind of thing. 391 patterns. Okay, they've got lots of bag patterns. Yep, and the prices, again, are what you'd expect. They might be slightly lower in some cases, but not unreasonable. Okay. What else can we check out here? Well, of course, they've got Fath sewing machines, uh, quilting and sewing supplies. They do have batting and stabilizer. What are they selling batting for? That's just strips. Craft Fuse Light, Craftway. It looks like their batting is sold in the pre-packaged amounts. A lot of sold out on these. Yeah, it looks to me lots of interfacing though to choose from too. And they have Battleizer as well, which is something I use a lot. So yeah, it doesn't look like they sell batting. Oh, I could be wrong. No. Doesn't look like they sell batting by the meter. It's all pre-packaged in that. Just check one more page to make sure I'm telling you the right thing. Yeah. But they've got all the major types of stabilizer that you would need as well. So, okay. So again, not a bad selection. Let's see. Anything else we're interested in? Thread. We are interested in thread. They have Aurifil. They have Glide. They have Gutermann. Okay, so three major brands. Aurifil has gone up in price. Oh, their price is good. $15.38. That's good for Aurifil because Aurifil now is averaging in Canada around $18.99 a spool this size. So yeah, that's a good price, and it looks like they have lots to choose from. This is an interesting brand, Aurifil USA. Is there something different about that? Same price, so I don't know why they call it that. Anyways, good selection. Okay, other things here. They do have classes. Let's look at all classes. Learn to quilt, intermediate. I'm assuming these are in-person classes. Well, they have a few. Not a lot, but you know, something. This looks interesting. Square peg and a round hole workshop. Oh, that's with Paul Leger. Paul Leger is a representative and ambassador for Bernina, and he also was he's involved with the Canadian Quilt Guild and things like that as well. So there you go. Okay, they do have block of the month, but not now. So I guess that's something they run. Services, sewing machine and service repair, private group sewing lessons, private machine instruction. In their news section, no news, Fath machines. Okay, so really, there's quite a bit here. Prices are good. Selection and fabric, it looks very good as well. Now, the only thing we didn't find out about was shipping. Let's see, do they have anything about shipping? Doesn't say. I suspect it's by Canada Post. Let's just do a fake order, shall we, on some fabric. Pick some batiks. We're going to take 2 meters of that because that's all they have left of it. Add it to my cart. Let's go proceed to checkout. Okay, so economy is $19.99, 3 to 5 business days, so it's probably Canada Post, and that's a little high, but I wonder if it increases if you add more things to it. It might. Looks like that might be, though, a flat rate. And it doesn't look like they offer you any kind of free shipping if you buy a certain amount. So, yeah. So that's not unreasonable, though. And I'd be certainly buying more than just a couple of meters if I was ordering anything. So You might want to check this out. It's called So Inspired, another quilt store here in Ontario, Canada. Okay, so what's coming up? Well, of course, as I've been saying this many times, May the 4th be with you. That's the Idiot Quilter Spring Retreat. No, I have not yet put anything more than what I just said now out to everybody. Probably just the week before we go to Australia, I will have a video that I will put up, and I'll be sending out information to those people on my mailing list about all the details for how you register for the retreat and what's involved with the retreat and all that kind of stuff. And remember, the retreat is absolutely free. It costs you nothing. So those details will be coming out. Registration will not open up until we come back from Australia. We come back from Australia. We fly from Australia back here on April the 18th. And so a couple of days after we get back from Australia, I will be doing registrations and everything like that and getting everything finalized for the retreat. It's going to be fun. I've got a little different kind of presentations this time. If you're a person who has been to most of my retreats, you know I always have guest speakers. These are more presenter type things, but that's all I'm going to say about it right now, because I have to finalize a few things with these presenters as well. But then I'll let you know about it. But it's always a good time. It's always a good time. And there are prizes. There's prizes. Lots and lots of prizes. So, yeah. So that's May the 4th. Just kind of mark it down on your calendar right now. And as I said, more details are coming. And, oh, that's funny. I wrote in my notes, a poop up so day. I mean a pop, not a poop. A pop-up so day. Oh, I wrote poop. Oh, well. Yeah, it happens. I don't know. I'm killing myself here. I'm laughing. Okay, I'm crazy. Pop-up so day. I'm thinking of, I want to have one before we go to Australia. So I'm thinking the Saturday before we leave for Australia, which would be March the 16th, will be the next pop-up sew day. It's tentative. I haven't said for sure it's going to be that date, but next week I will definitely make a firm commitment to that date one way or the other, and you'll get all that information on next week's video, so tune in. And those of you on the mailing list, of course, will get that information as well sent to you. If you want to be on the mailing list, look in my show notes. You will see that there's a link to how you find my email address, and just click on that and then send me off an email giving me your first and last name, real names, please. I do not deal with nicknames, okay? And the email address that you wish to be contacted at, if it is different from the one that's in your return address already in the email you send me, okay? And I'll be happy to put you on the mailing list. And yeah, okay. Anything else I need to tell you this week? No. Maybe see some of you tomorrow on Sewing with Steffi and Stephen. So Chatty on Friday. And of course, Stephen and Walter live on Sunday. And heaven only knows what we're talking about then. Okay. Hope you have a great week. Go out there, make something beautiful for yourself or for somebody else, and just enjoy whatever kind of weather we're having. And we'll see you later. Bye for now.